Hey there guys, Mike here. Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection is back with another episode. And today guys and gals and everybody, we're going to I'm going to look at some films by Michael Powell and Emeric Pressburger. I believe in the past, maybe in the past 2 years, I did an episode where I showed all these off. Well, some of these are updates. I've updated to Blu-ray from DVD, and a couple of new ones by them that I recently picked up. So I just want to kind of briefly go over them and stuff. And I do really recommend checking some of these out. They've made some of the most beautiful Technicolor movies you've ever seen in your life. They work with Jack Cardiff, the cinematographer, and it's amazing. So let's start with 1943's The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. Man, this is a great movie. It tells the story of General Clive Candy, and what they do in this film is they kind of start off where he's old, and he gets younger as they tell his story, like in a flashback kind of, and it's really good. I think Deborah Carr has, I think she plays two roles. She plays the older herself and the younger self. The makeup is really good for 1943. General Clive Candy is played by Roger Livesey. Sorry, I messed up his name probably. But we got Anton Walbrook making, I think it might be his first appearance in one of their films. He's in The Red Shoes. But really, it's talking about the war. I guess it, kind of starts with some of those little wars, Britain had, and then you had World War I and World War II. So it kind of picks up at World War II, and just awesome. It's just an awesome movie, gorgeous Technicolor. And then the one I have here is the Blu-ray from Criterion Collection. I believe it came out in 2013. But I also have two different DVD versions of it on Criterion, because I like the movie that much, but I'm not going to show all those and everything. So anyways, that's a great movie. Check it out. Now this one is, oh my god, great Technicolor. Even my wife watched this with me the other night, and she was amazed by the photography, and it's just beautiful. There's a scene in the beginning where David Niven is in an airplane and it's crashing. He doesn't have a parachute. He's talking to Kim Hunter, who is an American working over there in Europe during World War II. The movie I'm talking about, or trying to talk about, is A Matter of Life and Death. Starring David Niven, Kim Hunter. This is a gorgeous Technicolor movie. Really good. It's from 1946. So we're just getting over, World War II. Everybody's trying to get back to normal. We got Jack Cardiff is back as cinematographer. And David Niven's really good in this. It's a younger David Niven, but man, watching him in this movie, it's like, man, he's done some really good movies, and he's one of those actors that's, even as a young kid, I would see him in stuff, all the time. So he was very well known, and everything. But yeah, briefly about this one. This is about, David Niven's in a plane, in a bomber. His co-pilot, his radio man or whatever, both have been killed. The plane's going down. There's a really good scene between Kim Hunter and David Niven, and basically, I don't want to give away a lot of the stuff, but he ends up on a beach, and so what happens is in heaven, there's angels that come and take you when you die, but because of the fog in England or Europe or somewhere in England. Maybe it may be off Scotland's coast or something like that. But he said the fog was so thick I couldn't get him in time. So David Niven ends up back on Earth. He should be dead, but he didn't. So it's kind of a movie where he falls in love with Kim Hunter. The angels in heaven are trying to get him back up there, where there's kind of like a court, kind of a trial to put him on trial and see, if he stays in heaven or if he stays on earth. And basically his love keeps him there. I don't want to go into any more of it because it is such a great movie. I don't want to give away all the nuances and stuff like that. But this is an update. I had the DVD for many, many years, the Criterion Edition DVD, and I finally upgraded it to Blu-ray because I'm such a fan of this filmmaking team that, I had to have it. So I looked around, found good deals. See, I've been doing this over time, so I found a really good deal on this. Black Narcissus. Very, very, very another slam dunk. I mean, out of the park with this. This is 1947. This is the year after A Matter of Life and Death. This basically. It takes place at like I guess what you would say, a nunnery where nuns are. This is in, I'm trying to think, where does it take place? It's kind of like India, or it's somewhere like you almost, when you watch it, you almost don't know where it is. It's almost like a fantasy, a dream or something like that. So it's kind of like you can maybe figure it out, like, oh, okay, well, it's the 1940s or it's the 1920s or whatever. But yeah, another great cast. We got Deborah Kerr, Kathleen Bryan, she does a great performance in this. Flora Robson. It takes place in the Himalayas. With, the isolation, the extreme weather, the altitude, a culture clash, all conspire to drive the well-intentioned missionaries mad. A darkly grand film that won Oscars for Alfred Jones' art direction and Jack Cardiff's cinematography. Black Narcissus is one of the greatest achievements by two of cinema's true visionaries, and that is really good. Some of the extras, we got audio commentary by Martin Scorsese. Got some introductions, got some documentaries. Pretty well rounded out release. Really, really like that. Now this is one of the new ones I picked up that I have it. God, I want to say I have it on Laserdisc. Yeah, I do. I have it on Laserdisc. There's a Criterion Edition Laserdisc that came out, back in the 90s or whatever. But I finally got this. This is the 50th anniversary edition from. This is from Studio Canal, the Vintage Series Classics they've been doing. This is Peeping Tom. This would be Michael Powell's. He's solo on this. This is his film, and he basically doesn't make any more movies after this. This is 1960. Peeping Tom was a major controversial movie when it was released. In England and parts of Europe and America and stuff. I don't think it even came over to America for a while. It was rated X. I guess that's the British one, but this is a UK edition. This is a region. Yeah, it's region locked. It's only region B, so basically Europe. So you got to have a multi-region player, stuff like that. But there is some other copies of it around, so I think you can get a good copy of it. But on here, there's some good stuff, and it's got two documentaries. It's got an introduction by Martin Scorsese, and then it's got an interview with Thelma Schoonmaker. You might know that name because she's worked with Martin Scorsese since the late 70s, I believe, as his editor. It's kind of like Tarantino and Sally, was it Minky? and she was married to Michael Powell. She married him in like 1983 or something like that, and he passed away, I think, in like early 90s, sometime like that. But yeah, there was an age difference, but a lot of good stuff. I mean, she's got a lot of stories about Michael Powell and all that good stuff. But the movie itself is about this young guy who basically has been raised with a camera. His dad. It's kind of weird. It kind of crosses the line in different stuff, like voyeurism, murder, obsession. It has a lot going for it. And watching the movie, it's not anything severely like that bad. I guess it's the murder, just the kind of the creepiness of this guy and everything. But really good. I mean, I promise you, it's a really good movie. Peeping Tom. I'm glad to add that to my Powell and Pressburger collection. Now, this is another new one. This was originally made in 1950. I think it got released in America in 1952. It goes by two names. The Wild Heart, I guess, is the original name and everything. And then, actually, I think that's the American title. Yeah, that's when it came over in 1952. 1950, it was known as Gone to Earth, and I think that was the European cut. So, what we have here, we have two different versions. We got the 1950 and the 1952. The movie I'm talking about, The Wild Heart, aka Gone to Earth. Really, really interesting movie. Again, we got the great Technicolor. We got Michael Powell and Pressburger wrote the screenplay. It's got Jennifer Jones, David Ferraro, and Cyril Cusack is in this. Pretty good. I mean, it's got two commentaries. I'm sorry. And it's got a roadshow edition of The Wild Heart and Gone to Earth, the 1950 version. And then there's some trailers and etc. and stuff. And this is from Kino. It's Region A. So I guess if you're in Europe, you still need a multi-region one to play this because it's American. It's A. So, anyways, The Wild Heart, aka Gone to Earth. And that's a new addition to my collection of Powell and Pressburger. This one I wanted to check out. This is one of Michael Powell's first movies that he directed. He had been in the film business for a good while at that point. But this was a movie that he wanted to make in 1937. This is what really got him to the next level, and teaming up with Emeric Pressburger and everything. And, they would go on to make like The Thief of Baghdad in 1940 and stuff like that. But this is 1937, and this is it's a little film called The Edge of the World. And this is an older milestone DVD release. But it's pretty nice. It's got like two documentaries and commentary and all that stuff. But basically, two families, the Masons and the Gray, living on a remote island off the coast of Scotland, are united by a friendship and romance between young Ruth and Andrew. Ruth's brother Robbie, believing there's no future on the island, plans to leave in spite of Andrew's objections. To settle their argument, the two men follow an ancient local tradition and race to the top of the island's 1,220-foot cliff to see whose opinion would prevail. The outcome shatters the island's peace and spirits of the two clans apart. This was completely shot like on location, outdoors, on the island of Fola in the Shetlands area of Scotland. Edge of the World is a beautiful, thrilling, and profoundly moving for cinema great Powell, who went on to make such enduring masterpieces as The Red Shoe and I Know Where I'm Going. This was his first important film and the one that remained dear to his heart. Fans will especially enjoy seeing the director himself in the role of the yacht owner. So there you go, kids. The Edge of the World, a very important movie in the filmography of Michael Powell, and would be for Emeric Pressburger and stuff. So finally, guys, this is the big upgrade. I watched this the other day. This is a 4K. Pretty much just blew my mind how good it looks. I mean, with the 4K, it just really brings everything to a certain, it doesn't lose its film look. It's not, but anyways, I finally, this came out, I believe, last year, or 2021. It was announced, and I was just like, well, I already have it. Why should I redo it? But anyways, I re-got it. I upgraded it to the 4K. It's got a Bluray in there, so everything's cool. So this is 1948's The Red Shoes. One of their best known movies, which is good and bad, because a lot of people are drawn to The Red Shoes and they may not check out their other films and stuff, which are equally amazing. But The Red Shoes itself is just a bona fide classic. You don't have to be into ballet. You don't have to be into classical music. It's about the story. It's a very simple story. It's based on a Hans Christian Andersen tale about these magical ballet shoes. And it's kind of a dark story. It's like basically the shoes are possessed, and when the ballerina wears them, it just she can never stop dancing and stuff. So it ultimately kills her. But man, there's so much more in there. I mean, that's the Hans Christian Andersen story. So Michael Powell and Emeric Pressburger get in there and they change it around. And there's some great performances, I have to mention. Again, Jack Cardiff is back as cinematographer. And I'm not even saying their names here. But it started out in the role of the ballerina. Now, she was not an actress. They wanted somebody who could dance, could really dance, and act at the same time. So it was probably kind of tough, figuring that out. But in the role of Victoria Page, the ballet person played by Maura Scherer, as Julian Craster, we got Marius Goldring, and as Boris Limotov, her ingenue, or her, he's kind of like a Svengali kind of puppeteering, controlling her. Great role by Anton Walbrook. He's been in 2 or 3 movies by them, especially The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. He's really good in that too. But just briefly, a great British cast. There's like 3 or 4 real life ballet people, or associated with ballet in this. Really cool. But I promise you, if you don't, you don't have to be some kind of ballet person, only to enjoy it. But it's not true. It's good. I've seen this movie so many times. I first saw this movie in like 1992. Let me tell you this brief story. But the Cinemax channel, yes, kids, it used to be known as Cinemax, and it was by itself, and then there was HBO by itself. And then, of course, they cleverly put them together as HBO Max, and now it's just Max. But I'm talking about the days when it was on TV, and we didn't have DVRs to record it, so you had to set a timer on your VCR to record it. But in my case, on this one, I had my grandfather record it for me, because I think he had Cinemax and we didn't, or something. And there was a series, a monthly series that they did for probably over a year. Martin Scorsese would pick certain movies and stuff. So he picked The Red Shoes, and I'm not sure if it was even available, because some of the movies he would talk about were not on video yet, which was really cool at that point in 1992. But he introduced to me through those episodes on Cinemax to Jean Cocteau's The Beauty and the Beast, even the Last Picture show, which at that time was not on anything. It wasn't available. So when they showed it, it was like, whoa, you know. But it would eventually come on VHS and so on. But at that time, it was really cool. It was exciting because it was like, oh, I can only watch this movie. You know, this is the only way you can see it. But I copied it. What I would do is, because my grandfather wasn't, you know, tech savvy. God bless him. But I'd go up there and like program his VCR, and then it would record. I'd be like, Grandpa, you just got to leave it. Just leave that on that channel, because if you change the channel, it's going to record whatever's on the other channel. So, you know, that was the dilemma back in the day. And long story short, I got it, watched it. It was really cool. And so I've seen it over half a dozen times at least, or more, since then. But anyways, guys, enough of me blabbering and stuff. That was some new and a mixture of Powell and Pressburger movies that I've watched. I mean, some of these could be known as movies I love to rewatch and everything, but some of those upgraded and got some new ones and stuff. So anyways, just a little, check in. There's still some more I need to find and work on finding and stuff, but I have much more than this. I just wanted to show these off as a recommendation. So there you go, guys. Make sure you like, comment, complaints, questions. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And that's about it, guys. So I'm going to check out some new... I'm going to go back to the movie pile and start watching movies. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care.